Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So, as you know, Tuesday means Type 2 or Standard Tuesday, and today we have what's basically a comeback effort from a deck that used to be super popular, but has kind of faded away. This is Blue-White Spirits, before there was Blue-White Midrange, before there was the banning of Reflector Mage. Blue-White Spirits was a super hype deck and actually saw quite a bit of play and was pretty good, kind of faded away with Aether Revolt, with the banning of Reflector Mage, but it's back. This version took Vitor Grasado to a top 8 finish at a RPTQ down in Brazil, I believe, so congrats to Vitor on his finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break down the deck: if you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Blue-White Spirits is kind of about, we start off 1 mana, Mausoleum Wanderer, can counter some stuff, kind of like a Curse Catcher with flying or a Judge's Familiar with upside. Gets bigger when we cast a Spirit until end of turn, so it can sometimes attack for 2 in the air. Just a really powerful card overall. Can fizzle a removal spell, gets in some damage. Then we have the 2-drops, and these are some of the best cards in the deck. Rattle Chains is an on-curve flyer as a 2/1. It has Flash, which makes it even better, plus it gives all of our spirits Flash, and it gives the spirit hexproof when it enters the battlefield, so it just does everything. Really, having a Rattle Chains out in the battlefield, though, is just one of the scariest things if you're playing against this deck, because you never know when the opponent's just going to leave up all their mana and flash in a bunch of flyers at end of turn. Selfless Spirit is great at fizzling removal spells. It can fizzle targeted removal spells, fizzle a whole Wrath, and again, an on-curve flyer is a 2/1 for only 2 mana, so you get a lot of upside for a low price. Then we have the 3-drop Spell Queller. You probably know what this one does. Counters a lot of different stuff, only temporarily, but still, anything converting mana cost 4 or less, a great tempo play, another good flying body. The Nibblegast Herald is a way you can flash in your spirits to tap down your opponent's creatures, so if your opponent's about to attack you with a huge Verdurous Gearhulk or a Heart of Kirin, you have an answer just by tapping them down. Also taps down blocking creatures so you can get in an attack and win the game. Then the Honorary Spirit, Archangel Avacyn, has kind of fallen off a bit, but still an extremely powerful magic card. Basically a Seer Angel with a ton of upside. Again, makes all your creatures indestructible, so this deck is just like Wrath proof essentially. And then if it flips around, it can Wrath the board, gets even bigger, and is just a huge flyer to close out the game. Then we do have some new additions from Aether Revolt. So number 1, we have Metallic Mimic, and this one makes sense. It's a 2-drop, it's technically a spirit itself because you get to choose its creature type, and it makes all your spirits bigger, so instead of being 2/1 flyers, you got a bunch of 3/2 flyers, which is even more insane, especially when you can flash things in, and just very powerful. The second new addition might not be as intuitive. Walking Ballista has just proven itself to be an absurdly powerful magic card. It is sort of the new Smuggler's Copter, to the extent that just like every deck is playing 4 Walking Ballistas. Not really every, but a high percentage of decks are playing 4 Walking Ballistas, because it's just really powerful. It's fairly on curve, it offers a mana sink as the game goes long, takes care of the copycat combo, it just does everything for a low cost. The rest of the cards in the main deck, we have Essence Flux, just for a little trickery. You can blink one of your things, it comes back a little bigger, fizzle a removal spell. Stasis Snare is the deck's removal spell. Just the most unconditional instant speed removal spell in the format, does stop the copycat combo, hits anything there is, and then a couple of Always Watchings to let you play some offense, defense, and pump up your flyers even bigger. In the mana base, the blue-white duels, a bunch of basic lands, and a single Westville Abbey, so gives you another mana sink when the game goes long, makes some 1/1s. In the sideboard, we have a bunch of stuff for kind of more controlling matchups. So Bruna and Gisela let the deck go big. Gisela is also fine against aggro if it's not going to get killed by an Incendiary Flow or Harness Lightning because of the lifelink. Gideon, great against control decks, closes out the game super quickly. Negate to force your stuff through counters or keep your opponent from comboing off. Thalia is another great answer to Copycat because The copies enter the battlefield tapped, they can't attack and kill you. Then we have some vehicles as resilient, really hard to deal with threats. Sky Sovereign, Aether Sphere Harvester. Linvala gives the deck some game against aggressive decks. You gain back a bunch of life, maybe even get an extra flyer. Fumigate to wrath the board, and Decommission to deal with artifacts and enchantments. And that is the updated, new and improved U-White Spirits 4 standard. And that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.